Hello, everyone, and welcome to Feng Shui Fixes. My name is Kathleen Zemansky. I'm a business Feng Shui master, business astrologer, and the creator of the Time Blazer business management system. So the purpose of this is to have you use the space as best that you can during the month of July. So there's Feng Shui tips and tricks that I'm going to be giving to you, and it's a super easy system, maybe a little bit new material for you because we're going to be talking about the flying star system. And I'm doing each day, I'm going through all the different sectors, giving you a little bit of information about that on how you can best use your space to have a competitive edge in your business, more balance in your life, and better relationships. So let's head on over to the presentation, and we'll be starting with the year of the rat. We are in this crazy year of the rat. Metal rat started in February, the beginning of 2020, and from there it just seems like everything just kind of collapsed, right? So we have this global pandemic that's happening, which we totally predicted. My annual event was in January. I was already speaking about you better invest in a mask and financial and real estate collapse. So we knew that this was coming for years. Hopefully now you're paying attention to this stuff because you know what? Science and astrology all are paralleling with the same information. We've been on board with this for a while, so let's see how we can get you into a better position. All right. First, before we go any further, if you are new to me or my channel, one of the things we would love for you to do is to obviously share this content with people that you know that it could help. Number two, comment and let me know what you want to hear. Is this something that you are liking? Is it something that is helping you? Is it something that you're using? Because the information that I'm giving you is not for later. It's for now. So if you wait even just a couple of weeks, you're missing out on the opportunities that the space has to provide for you. So go ahead and like, share, comment, ring that bell so that you can get notifications that when we go live or have other recorded material that you can benefit from it immediately. Okay, and so we talked about big shifts. I just talked about some of the big shifts we had, including we're starting a new astrological cycle. We started with the rat. That's the first animal in the zodiac. So this is the beginning. This is the baby energy. It's just like that first time mother who really doesn't have the playbook on how to raise a child. Well, we got a really interesting baby that was birthed this year, right? But you know what? Disruption does bring opportunities. So this is where I would like to help you as well, is for you to see that we've got some big opportunities here. All right, now, really what I want to talk about is person, space, and time. So really, this is a holistic model. In a perfect world, 33% of your astrology is going to say everything is kind of good and we can get you to do certain things in certain years. You actually have a very good chance of really capturing 33% of your potential that's in your astrology chart. Then we have your space, and that's saying that everything is wonderful in your space. Then you have a 33% opportunity with the space. Then we also have a timing aspect. Timing is really everything in classical feng shui. Classical feng shui basically means we're taking person, space, and time into consideration, and spirit, if you will, the universal energies. And that means that every space is unique. So I really want you to caution about just using that blanketed information that, you know, when you walk into the room, you know, the left-hand corner is for relationships, the left is for, or right is for money. You know, it's just like if that was true, we would all have perfect relationships. We'd all have all the money in the world, and we wouldn't even be having this discussion. Well, we're having this discussion because I know with every cell in my being that we need to look at all of these systems now more than ever. I want you to continue to do your good work. This is not a practitioner program. It's actually free for right now. We're just kind of testing it out this month to see what kind of reaction we're going to be getting. So we're really kind of piloting this information out there too. So again, I need to hear from you on whether or not you like this information or not, so that I can help you the best that I can. All right, now what I was talking about before is the 33% is going to be your astrology. So you may want to hop on over to, and the link is below, to grab your astrology chart. And you may want to run the charts of every person that you're sheltering in place with, is what we're calling it here in the US. I'm not sure what other countries are calling it, but we're calling it shelter in place. So basically go to freebusinessastrology.com, and then you're going to get this astrology chart. And really what we're looking at is that top row that has the elements and the animals in it. So your year of birth is going to be about your reputation, the people that you know, your networking efforts, your marketing efforts. So are you on the right track about that? The month is about your career and your character. Your day is about your thoughts. You know what? If there's something that I can really advise during this whole pandemic, is everyone, including me, and if anyone that's telling you that they're not doing this and they're advising you to do this, I would go next. You really need to be working on your mindset right now. It's very easy. People are talking about food cleanses and things like, well, how about a news cleanse? How about really filtering? You can watch the news to stay informed. You need to stay informed. You need to know what your country is doing at any particular time, but you also need to be working on your mindset of discerning what you can have control over, like putting on a face covering and social distancing and things like that, and what you have no control over. You have no control over how your government is handling it in your country, but you can take your own actions. And doing this and taking more responsibility for your actions is actually where you're going to succeed with the metaphysical tools as well. Okay, so get those charts for people that you're sheltering in place with. And we are in what's called the month of the goat. In English, July, but all of the 12 months reflect with a certain month, if you will. So if you were born in July and born after a certain date, because there's many innuendos, and I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but basically if you're born in the month of the goat, predominantly most of the month, you were born in the month of the goat. So there's one piece of astrology. Even without running your chart, each month reflects to a certain animal. So what I want to let you know about the goat is, fantastic energy there. So what that means is that if you've got this animal in your chart, you have the number one most favorable animal, and then it depends on where that goat shows up. You may have more than one goat, but for our purposes, we're going to say year, month, day, and hour. I just went through what they mean. You can either reverse the video to play that back and figure out what they are, or just read there on the screen. Okay? All right. Now, let's move on to the star of the show today, which is going to be about the space. Now, the space is a very important piece that I want to talk about, and I really want to set this and set you up for success. Now, there are certain things that we do in Feng Shui, and it's like acupuncture for the space. This is when we're actually doing a Feng Shui activation, and that would be either placing water in a certain area, we're breaking the wall, as in we're breaking the earth, depending on what kind of material your building that you're living in is made out of. But back in the day, it was breaking the earth. It was made out of materials that were natural, and they were breaking the earth this way. This is why we start demolitions on a day, because it actually triggers really good chi. We dig holes into the ground. That, again, is tapping into the good chi, but you do this at a certain direction at a certain time. So no matter what direction I am talking about through this series, here's what I need you to do. And you get access to these compass dials if you would like them. Again, those links are below. But what I want you to do is, once you have an accurate floor plan, and this is very, very, very important for you to get an accurate floor plan, there's a couple of apps out there that you can draw it on your own. You can talk to your property management. If you own the building, look in your closing docs. A lot of times there'll be the floor plan there. In the US, you can go on to, well, you know what? Actually, I'm not even going to give that website. Just go on to Google Earth, Google your address, and then get that snapshot of your address, and then boop, there you go. At least you have the roof line or whatever of the building that you're in. If you're in a, in a property that it's just a home, and then if it's in like a high rise or something like that, well, yes, you can do the macro of the whole, but then you got to find out where your place is at. But at least you can see the landform. The purpose of this conversation is this: Feng Shui starts on the outside of your space. It's not on the inside. That's a number one misconception that I really want to really drill home into your mindset. That when people, my clients call me to Feng Shui their space, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at what's happening on the exterior. So get that floor plan, put it onto your space that you're living in, and then extend those lines out, those northeast, southwest, southeast, northeast, northwest, southwest. Did I get them all? All 8 directions, and really take them out to your property line. And go out, and really what I want you to start doing is start being aware of your environment. What is out there? Because that's affecting your space. So each and every one of these that I'm talking about, whether they be positive or negative, if you see beauty outside, it's nice and open, you see maybe a nice lush green hill, or maybe you have a water view, even if it's just your next door neighbor, is there some space between you that you can actually see something that is beautiful? I'm just going to put it under beauty, which means that it's more vibrant, right? But if you have something that's sharp angles that are pointing into you, you see something like a pylon, there's a pile of garbage there, there's something that's broken in that area, that's going to diminish. No matter what I say, it's going to diminish the energy that you are trying to capture, harness, and bring into your space. Okay? All right. So let's go back to our discussion of, and then you might have things such as, you may have things like a missing corner, or, an area that is just, you don't have that complete square. We're going to do some long-term feng shui in here too, as we move forward in all of these series. But again, I can speak about feng shui, astrology, timing, and then obviously the universal gateway, the universal energy. So it's really fun to get involved with these energies. All right, so let's now go over back to our presentation here, and we're talking about the West Palace today. So the West is got so much good energy happening for this sector this year. So if you can, and you don't have it missing, I would spend a good deal of time here, because it is one of the more positive directions in 2020. As a matter of fact, it is the most positive in 2020. Okay, so if you recall a discussion we had yesterday about a 4 and 9, which is located in the southwest, well, guess what? We have 4 and 9 right next to each other. When the 4 is, and this is by the way, our long term, as in 1 year. So we've got 6 months left to go in the year. This is the flying star for the year. And this is all going to change next year come February. But for right now, what we do is we have this setup of a 9 and a 4. So we really like this energy when it's right next door to each other, because we can tap into a 9-4 or 4-9 combination, which is very good for relationships. This brings happiness, partnerships. And when they're right next door to each other, just think about on your floor plan how you can utilize both, right? If that space is open between, you don't have a wall between your southwest and your west, and you're actually able to, kind of walk through and just really use that space. And that's really the feng shui we're talking about right now. using the space. Use it as your office space. And I talked about this earlier as well, where, this little thing is a computer. So to say that you can't move into that area because, and you give me your long excuse, you're closing down your opportunities, right? All right. So, but let's talk about how, or what is the contents for the West sector for today's presentation. So remember, this is our annual. It's very good for long-term investments. This is your assets. This could be your IP. If you've got, a book or an app or something like that, this is where it can really help you for sure. So let's talk about now the monthly energies that are now influencing the annual. And let me remind you that the number on the right is the number that is the annual, and the number on the left, which will be changing in just a few short weeks, is the monthly. So we look at these in combination with each other. What can we do with that specific energy? All right, so let's talk about that for just a second. And then I'm actually going to go to the next slide where we have the icons, so you can kind of see, and just as a reminder, that the blue ones are the positive, and the red one, we do need to take a little bit of caution. All right, so what do we have for a 5-9 combination? First of all, it is a pretty darn powerful combination that in our Feng Shui world, we call it the 5 yellow meets the 9 purple. 5 is the number that, if you have been following me for a while, or if you're very familiar with Feng Shui, the 5 is the number that we really do need to take caution with. So it's a very, very powerful number. It really means sort of that emperor, it's really, 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 really high power. And then it really likes to be in the center palace where it says July 6th and August the 6th. It really likes, that's its home place. When it's out here with the peons, the rest of the world, it gets kind of like, oh, I don't really like mixing with, the rest of y'all. So really what we're trying to find is how we can find harmony with this 5 and 9. So it does come with great potential. I mean, seriously great potential, but it does come with risk as well. So do take caution. So your outcomes, like I said, could be really, really high and good, or they could be really low and bad. So really what I want you to start thinking about is, again, what I talked about of the influences, what is in your West sector and what is outside of the West sector, right outside your building. Are you going to be bringing in the more positive energy because of it? And your actions need to follow that, as well as are we going to bring in more of the negative? So what if it's positive? Really what we're going to be seeing is you're going to see much more of the positivity coming that way, like opportunities. It's going to bring great wealth. It's going to bring partnerships, clarity. It's very good for relationships, even your personal relationships and partnerships as well. So that's really what it's going to be on the positive side. But when the 5 and 9 get cranky with each other, and cranky could be you are not handling your emotions properly, because it can get very emotional, and it could get very it could turn into a toxic environment because your actions are not matching your true self, unless you're an angry person all the time. Well, then you need to really work on your mindset. But it is also about, like, when the negative starts taking place, basically what we have to really watch out for is the negativity can collapse those opportunities, can collapse your health. We really do need to watch out for burnout if you're going to be using the 5-9, because it really can create that in balance, right? So we want to keep it on the positive. So it really is watching your emotion and your emotional health, your mindset, looking at the inside and outside of this area. And then we can have a lot more clarity and bring about the things that we want to bring about. All right, I'm going to show you this now on a compass dial. And what we have here is the annual flying star dial. We are not putting the monthly on there. So what I want you to start thinking about is, getting that accurate floor plan and then superimposing this by requesting our dial. Again, it's located at the bottom of in the description. You can find those links and many other links as well. So you'll get this one, and then you'll see where this has the energetic map for 2020. Now, I do want to also integrate another dial that you will be receiving, which is the annual Feng Shui dial. Now, we are talking about the West sector here, and the West sector is beautiful for the year of the rat. And so it just has so many things going for it. We know that the animal of the rooster in and itself, if you have a rooster in your chart, hang out in here, because boy, oh boy, is this going to be very positive for you. It brings about fortune, especially for long-term investments. Like if you're thinking about buying a piece of property, again, if you have a piece of IP or something like that, then we have even the universal gateway. This is the spiritual side, which we really didn't talk about this month. We may bring that in next month if there's enough requests for that. The universal gateway in Chinese is called Qimendunjia. So this is bringing in that, for you to help spiritually manifest things by using this area as well. And so it just kind of keeps layering and layering up. And really, this is how I do the feng shui of my space as well, is I am looking at all the different systems that are there. I have a long-term of my space, and I do this for my top clients as well. I do the long term. There's so many different long term ones as well, and it depends on whether I had the pleasure and honor of starting that project from ground up. That's when you want to call in the feng shui master for sure. Or am I coming into a building that is already complete? They have really no option of renovation because maybe they're just renting the space and it's not even their own building. So you really can't do renovations unless you have a really cool landlord or property manager that you're leasing from. That'll say, yeah, if you're going to improve the space with feng shui, why not? But otherwise, then you get what you get. And so, but anyway, we always start out with that long-term plan, and then we look at the annual. The long-term is your long-term goals. Simple as that. Your short-term, which is going to be, or midterm, I'll even put it in, is your annual. And then your short-term goals are going to be this monthly energy that we're going to be layering over. And so what I'm always looking for is this a plus minus all around that compass dial, all around the spaces that I'm using, and even for my clients to help them understand that, maybe this month I need to go over to a different direction. Even if I'm using one room, I want to tap into the absolute best energy that is available. Okay. All right. So that's how you look at the space. And then the last piece, I think it is worth noting, is even with all of that, there are certain days that are going to be better than others. This is just a one little tiny fraction, minute fraction of what my time blazer looks like. And there's also a link below for that. If you would like to receive a 30-day free trial, absolutely free, no credit card required, and it's personalized to you. Amazing the system is. Okay, again, I'm just going to ask you with all of my heart if you can go ahead and like, comment, share, and ring that bell for further notifications from us. And we do absolutely appreciate your time and your following. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be out here tomorrow, and then I'm going to have to take a little break. because I'm going to be away for a couple of days, and I really want to do these live, and so I'm not bombarding you with, all three directions. Plus, I've got client work that I've got to be doing, so I won't be able to do all of them for you, but we still have a few more to go. So we'll have tomorrow, and then we'll pick it back up on Monday. So I'm just giving you an FYI on that. So I really look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Again, please let me know how this is helping you, and of what we've talked about already, which space are you liking the best? You got to figure out what you want to do this month, and that will help dictate how you can best use the space. Okay, everybody, have an amazing, amazing day. You guys be safe out there. Be well. See you tomorrow, and let your chi flow the best that it can. Bye-bye.